What's the message to the players now that you're that close?
I think it doesn't change. We just have to refocus after a short break for us and a couple of days off and make sure we get started again, which we've had. And this week's been a good working week, and it's just making sure we get over the line as quickly as we can. Hopefully that'll be Saturday. We know how difficult it will be, but the sooner we get the win under our belt to secure European football, the better for us.
And you know, from the club where it was last season to where it probably is going to be next season playing Europe, how much of an achievement is that?
It's huge. I think when going into the split last season, we were right in the thick of it and looking in the wrong direction. We managed to battle through that and showed good form in the split. Going into that, obviously the wins we picked up at the tail end of last season to make sure we stayed safe, which was our aim last season. Then it changes, the focus changes when you get a new season and the squad strengthens a bit, and you go into the new season with looking hopefully to touch top six or at least be around about it. When the split came around, and the position we put ourselves in been a huge achievement for the club, and one the players have worked hard to achieve the targets that we continue to set them, and we'll continue to set the targets. Obviously Europe's the biggest one for us now, and to achieve that in the back of where we were at this stage last season would be excellent for the club.
Do you sense, I think it's only one league defeat since the winter break, do you sense when players are going into games there's a different feeling there?
I think habits being bred in football are huge, and I think if you manage habits and get into a way winning games and getting about your work properly, I think that certainly helps, and you then find a way to dig deep when you need to in certain games and pick up points when maybe last season it was more of a struggle. The habits we were in were losing cheap goals, losing games for winning situations. So to turn that around was important for us as well, and we've managed to do that. So from our point of view, we've just got in good habits of grinding out results when we need to, putting in good performances, big performances when they've been needed at the right times. So just turning around the mentality really and picking up better habits, which we've managed to do, and we continue to do that.
And you know, when you are that close, you talked about it, one final push sort of thing, is that the kind of the feeling? Don't down the tools, we're almost there but not quite.
It has to be, and I think credit to the players whenever we've asked them to rise to a challenge, they've certainly done that, so fingers crossed they continue to do that till the end of the season.
The PFA Team of the Year came out on Sunday. Surprised there was no Kilmarnock representation, just given how good a season you guys have had? Slightly.
Obviously you sit here for a biased point of view, and there's certain players that have showed good numbers, there's players that you probably think could have been recognised, but you're understanding that there's a lot of good quality in Scotland, and these are all opinions, and like I say, our opinion with that squad would be pretty biased.
But maybe just show that, you know, it's such a collective here as well, that it's, you know, it's maybe not a case of there just being, you know, one or two standouts. Everyone in every position is putting in a job. Yeah, definitely. I think that's important to our results, going back to the earlier question as well, is a real team ethic. And again, I sit here and we speak about it time and time again, the spirit of the club, and the spirit that the players have built between themselves definitely is a huge part of our results and performances, is that team ethic that we have. Did European football seem like a realistic goal at the start of the season? I know Derek, towards the end of last season, had said, you know, it was about staying in the league last season and then using that as a sort of platform to build on and see where you could push from there. Was that something that, you know, as a staff you thought was possible this season? I'm not sure you think it's possible, but you certainly, I think if you get around the top six, then you're going to be close. In terms of the last couple of years in positions and points that teams have amassed, normally the sixth place would have a wee opportunity to get in fifth or fourth. So we knew if we could be around about the top six, that we would have a possibility of being around the places to get to Europe. So kind of they go together. If you get that top six, you're going to be round about that fifth and fourth place.
Obviously the cup dictates who's going to be in that 5th place, so if that's a place for Europe or not. So we always felt if you were round about that yes, you'd likely have an opportunity. To be 8 points clear at this stage is a different scenario altogether. So probably the fact we're so far clear at this precise moment is more a surprise for us.
I imagine this season's been significantly more enjoyable than last.
Yeah, more than significant probably. Again, going into the split at this time last year, you're in the mire and you're struggling to pick up points, and it was a real battle and a real grind, but one we knew was coming and we had to just grind it out and stay in the league, which was the most important thing. So yeah, it's certainly been an enjoyable season. That we would have liked to have went further in cups. There's no getting away from that. That's a target that the manager always sets his teams to try and get to Hampden as often as we can. So that's something we'll look to rectify, obviously going into next season. But in terms of league placing, we couldn't ask for much better.
What's a realistic ambition when it comes to European football and the potential of it next year?
I think the draw dictates that. Obviously there's some massive teams in it, and if you can get through the first cut of qualifying, then obviously the Champion League drop down from that, teams of that stature come into it as well. So I know it's probably too early to say, but it'll be difficult for a club of our stature, but it's one we'll a challenge that we'll meet head on and thoroughly look forward to.
I know you mentioned there might be a bit of bias and stuff when you're looking at individual awards come the end of the season, but do you think your manager deserves a bit of recognition for where he's taken this club?
That's a tough question to ask with that, but definitely. I mean, the gaffer continually between Aberdeen and now has built squads season after season to compete at the top level in the Scottish Premier League, and I think he's proven that again this season. So I'd be surprised if he wasn't recognised at some stage.
Paul, see when you're just driving in today, just even for this press conference, you can't help but notice a queue of about 20 people looking for tickets, looking jovial. Is it quite kind of proud for you and the management team to know you've caused that kind of upbeat attitude amongst fans, making sure they're at games and happy to be coming to games? I
think the success of the season dictates that, obviously, and there is a feel-good factor. We can't get away from that, and results again dictate that. So we're no daft enough to know that can't turn quickly, and we'll enjoy this season as we can. But again, there's a realisation that the hard work once this season's done, if we get over the line, which is the most important part to make sure we do that, we'll start straight away going into next season.
Just wanted to ask you about a couple of players. First one's Brad Lyons. He's probably one of the more players in the team that maybe was under the radar, but he's been out for a while, just started coming back into action. But as a midfielder yourself, how much value do you see in the impact Brad Lyons? We know he's scored match winners this season already. How big a player is he in the squad, even though he's a bit understated?
Again, it's that team ethic thing that hark back to, and is a huge part of that. His attitude and desire just to play football and just to enjoy his football and just to want to work day in day out. It's a bit cliched, but he trains as he plays every day, and it's no surprise the influence he has on the team when he's in it.
And any update on Marley Watkins in terms of whether we'll see him beyond the summer?
We're hopeful, obviously. We're hopeful that'll happen, but no clear update on that as of yet.
Well, you mentioned the managers, you're always looking at the next thing to improve the next thing as well. Obviously, you've seen close hand how he's worked over the years as well. Is that always the key? Is that part of his success? Even when you're in the relegation battle last season, he's probably thinking about how to push the club on this season as well.
I think so. I think he's got huge experience now, the manager, and he's seen a fair bit over his years in terms of management. But there's always that desire to improve from him personally as well, which rubs off not only on his players but his staff as well. We all want to be better as individuals, and I think he's constantly demanding that, which can only help the club going forward.
Just again on Derek, Paul, you know, when you see yourself in this position, you're at a lower budget than say other clubs who are in a less favourable position. Does that further hammer home the job that he's doing?
I think so. I think there's no getting away from that. I think it's as a club we're punching above our weight. We're not the only ones, but it's clear that we are. So absolutely, that's credit to him again.
Injury-wise, how's the squad?
We're all good, just our long-term injuries. Kyle McGuinness, that is. Greg Stewart, I'll miss the weekend, but hopefully won't be too far away after that.
Joe was fine as well from Joe Wright.
Yeah, no issues. Everyone else is good to go.